Hi, it's your Gemini friend. This video is going to be about Juno. So, Juno it's really one of my favorite asteroids, but there's a lot of debate on its significance and importance. So, I'd like to leave this pretty open to discussion. If you have any experiences or thoughts on Juno, using Juno within your own natal chart or within synastry especially, which is how I use it the most, because it is more related to relationships. That is what it is. Juno is an asteroid. You can include this in your chart, like on astro.com under the additional objects. You can add Juno in. It's right there and available for you. And I do offer synastry readings and personal natal chart readings if you are interested in getting my insight on the relationship. So in this, I'm just going to be discussing my experiences with it, like within my own chart, within doing synastry readings, and really, I've looked at like everyone whose chart I have to try to compile some information on this asteroid. So we'll talk about the signs, the house, the aspects, but first of all, what does Juno represent? It's a bit of a tricky thing to explain for me for some reason, but the most basic way to explain it is it's partnerships. It's like the ideal relationship for you, the ideal sort of partner, the sort of relationship that you would want to be in, what's best for you, the characteristics of the ideal partner for you. And all of this comes from the idea of Juno, the Roman equivalent of the Greek Hera, the wife of Zeus, who is known for jealousy. So this can absolutely be your own sense of justice in relationships. I do associate Juno with Libra to some degree, though I'm not sure if that's like actually a thing or if that's just an energetic connection that I make. But this can be connected to revenge, wrath, fidelity, and your overall what marriage is for you. Like, is marriage something appealing at all? That sort of thing. It can also deal with your idea towards like long-term relationships in general, or the overall dynamic that you prefer to have. So when it comes to your own Juno in your natal chart, the sign and the house that it's in, the sign really does tend to indicate the kind of personality romantically of the sort of partner that would be just the most compatible for you in your own energies. So it's going to be very personal to the combination of everything that is within your chart. The house tends to have relevance in, it could be where you meet your partner. It could be the sort of relationship that you want to maintain with them. It could be the focus of your partnership. For example, my Juno, it's in Libra in the 6th house. And yes, I met my partner at work. So house is certainly relevant. Like, say it's in the 5th, you would want somebody this could be related to. And whether it is like the relevancy of the house where you meet them, it's going to be a theme throughout the relationship. If you do meet your partner at work, it's likely that you're going to have a sort of work-oriented relationship, and you might even build a business together, something like that. So that's what you would consider with the placement itself. When it comes to in synastry, when you're combining two people's charts and looking at the aspects between everything within your charts, I have found that Juno is definitely not going to be like the most significant thing. It can be in some very specific cases, but for the most part, it's not like the hugest thing that you should totally base the entire relationship and your synastry on where Juno is. That's not going to be the most significant thing. However, it can be incredibly significant within certain charts when it's indicated sort of like a destiny type fated relationship. You might find Juno contacts in specific areas. For example, another personal one, my Juno is in Libra. My partner's sun is the exact same degree in Libra. So that conjunction, in the way that I see it, so genuinely as like this being the perfect personality to balance everything within me, that seems very significant. So I would say like conjunctions with personal planets, there's definitely some significance there. However, looking throughout like synastry of all of the charts, even throughout my family, long-lasting relationships with basically no Juno contacts at all are also absolutely a thing. So that's why I don't put too much stock on Juno, but I personally like it because it works for me. And in analyzing my own Juno, I'm able to see how it really does work in the way of like ideal relationships. I could give examples for like every sign. I can, even if anyone is interested, make a series on Juno through signs or houses. But like I said, I don't think this is like the most massively significant thing within a chart because it really is so particularly specific to you. This can deal with compromise, like your willingness to compromise. Say your Juno is in Aries or an independent, stubborn sign. This can indicate less area for compromise, but it goes both ways, kind of. It's like if you value independence, then you are likely to need a partner who is equally independent. If you are a highly creative person with Juno in the 5th, then it's likely that another highly creative person is going to be like the best sort of partnership for you. Tailor it to your placement specifically, but when it comes to aspects, contact between both persons' Juno, like say your Junos are trine or conjunct or something like that, this can be a strong indicator of you having similar relationship ideals, which I believe Juno emphasizes is a good thing. Because it can be like compatible romantic tendencies or just qualities in general and interests. I guess this can just kind of indicate strengths and challenges within the relationship, how you handle challenges, how your partner would ideally handle challenges. Like say, if you have Juno in Pisces, it would be ideal to have somebody who also has a lot of Pisces traits to feel that sort of empathy, to match your likely giving nature. Say your Juno was on that axis of Pisces or Virgo where like service and feeling like you are really truly there for your partner is a really important thing. You would want a partner who shared those ideals in some way. But there's also to consider retrograde Juno. This can be a period of reevaluating your relationships. You might find that when Juno is in retrograde, you are forced to look at the equality within your relationship, because that is ultimately what Juno stands for, is equality and having a fair relationship. Maybe I say that with my Juno in Libra, because that is how I see relationships. So feel free to explain your stance on relationships if your Juno is in a drastically different sign, house. Really, I'm just curious about other people's experiences, since this isn't the easiest thing to get data on. But ultimately, I think it is very useful in at least using your Juno as sort of a gauge when it comes to dating or looking at potential partners. Because you can always look at your placement and see in what ways they do match up with this, or consider what it says about your relationship style. It can be very much attached to like love languages and overall compatibility in that way. But ultimately, I have found it quite useful in its representation of like what a relationship is to us. So I really like it. Your experience with Juno, your experience within relationships that are similar to or very drastically different from your Juno placement. This is all quite experimentational, and the way that I see astrology in general is that we are all adding to it. This is an understanding and obviously ancient knowledge, but things evolve, and it is our contribution to understanding these things better and our experience that really makes it what it is and allows it to evolve in the way that it is. So I'm just curious to see your take on it. Do you take Juno seriously? Do you completely ignore it? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.